Tibo Mali Zhongze Sanwe Da Kaje Kebe Zujem Zongwa Losan Tabe Shala Sowa Panden Zawe Lama Rinpo Daso Jiwara Benden Densho Kajin Chenbe Kone Ches Guzon Toje Wudu Zendo Panden Zawe Lama Rinpo Daso Ningara Benden Densho Kajin Chenbe Kone Chodang Tumong Wudu Zendo Panden Zawe Lama Rinpo Daso Ningara Benden Densho Kaji Chenbe Kone Cheso Chanjo Nembar Enjo Masan Jume Shera Paru Che Maye Manga Namge Ngowo Soso Raye Yishe Juyu Tuzonge Sanze Lo Dea Ta Gade Para Samga Bodhe So Ha Dea Ta Gade Para Bodhe So Ha Dea Ta Gade Para Samga Bodhi So Ha Gere Tongda Jajo Shiwada Tianba Dorjee Piso Sojo Ne Tashi Dele Jo Sa Shi Bi Jo Dagi Chujurun Jibe Zonam Jen Dola Benje Sanjen Do Barasho Cheda Zoje Chonan La Janjo Ba
Rola Peje Sanjen Do Barasho Sanje Cheda Zoje
Dagi Chujurun Jibe Zonam Jen Dola Benje Sanjen Do Barasho
Simche Tabje Tojalana Yadava Zove Sanje Pomaja Beginning Cover. Teaching the temperature saying in the Guru churches, German things and temperatures.
Let me remind every one of ourselves to take a moment and cultivate the highest form of motivation. We call it bodhicitta motivation, or the altruistic motivation, seeking complete enlightenment for the sake of all other sentient beings. With that kind of at least contrived bodhicitta motivation or bodhisattva's state of mind, we should participate in this discourse on the perfection of wisdom or wisdom gone beyond.
在主要的是讲，电影曾经写着他电影就是这么帮，现在没需要的些。
电影搞什么的？
这么帮，电影就是没这是吧？
啊，弄是弄。
就在写的没这。
这么帮不弄。So as we talked about this last time, that in every school of Buddhist thought or the tenet, we see the presentation of the two truths. Conventional truth, Samvriti Satya, Kunjab Dhamma in Tibetan, and ultimate truth or the Paramartha Satya or Tendam Dhamma. So that being said, because different philosophical schools have different take on the two truths, of course that would involve what we call argumentation or disputation, right? So we will see how the higher schools of thought may refute or dispute with the notion of the true truth presented in lower schools of thought.
电影就是这么帮，什么电影跟那就是这么帮，说多的吧，说我嘛这个吧，什么的，对吧？现在这个，我嘛啦，过年没玩，这么帮，多的吧啦，说我嘛这个吧啦，这个吧。 Rashi mewa musum jine neba kaba, Rashi mewa lumbi neba kaba. Tamba ninyi ka so, kamba choki dende, tenga dedaki ka so, cho ngami dewa tsazi ki ngu su ma shiba, shukda to goba, mang shi yebe, there shows them. Show me it's what did I go day. Tell a good more than Nari, Kuja, Chutala. Newspaper, Omobe, regret never have a meeting. Omobala, Shotaja, Roshimeva, Kelea. Roshimebe, Jubilee, Sherkin, Madrid. Omobe more Rashimeva Jubi, Juji Yede. Mago Omobe, Shigo Momo Nikolai. Zubata, Chover and Devis, Milota, Sugyaso, pay, Tube Yodapa, Gobi, Shileda Daniels, Shugo the Rashima, those Shuk Lala. Omope more Debatraba unit Yede Pendita Vishe Nikala to know the Truby pay Yonda then maybe the drop minute Jokbales one Tada Gobo told Shubani Dubai share started Rashi. Hengala, Kong Shiva, the Latin Nuba Maino, Yeda. Tira Dela, said the Jamala Soba, Rang Shaw, Tribes, Beconi, Jadegi, Womana, Rajimeba. The told Shubar, Number Teda, Gashi Govana, Rashida Shiva, Zindi Shiva Nuba, Mohan, Mainte. You got to be baby, here's some of this. The midrabe, Tenzin Dorjee. The me Chava, to be done. Mangiva, shooting it into them. They made them in your Sharmini Tono. Then Nago Omabe, Chico Mumola, Doctor Dennis, Umetawa to Dendus, what that did Super Bombatira, the Derek Rohima Motoji Karsa, Rohima Motoji Tunayam, Metaba, Devagama. Rahima Muslim never gama. Rahima Lung never gama. Studied such literature. Rahim is I think Rahim is I did. It's the truth of Rahim is I Muslim do so. That hasn't been don't do last of us. Did a tiny the Muslim Torah. The Muslim Torah died. Karsa regime is at the nucleus. Go to Mumma, the Yavada Rashi, Yavaki Goro. The Omabe Rashi, Yavada Yavaki Kakache, but him then got of the there were the Muslim nucleus, Muslim draw at the sound of Yasha to Julum Muslim to what did do 6 years. Karsa Muslim Karsa Sums. Doda so Uma Chirgabas. Umas in the symptom of Umas, Simga Chirgaba, symptom of the Vasida Gama. No more Guni Miller, it's all upon us. What is that? Karsa. The Chicago Karsa did you? Somebody you do some Dodeva, so Mumo, Chergamas, Simzabas, Dodeva, Shrama, Simzabas, Timeji, Umo, because you go over the Mama, the Goma, Gabashe, and some of the Korean Shidomi is going to the car of the Shirad Gamas. The Lama Guni Meba, Guni Teva Zobamos. Umelam said that the Rashim said in Tegman still Chicapen to Rahib and the maid made to the long door the Gaga Mayor Shagri said, Diretadaro. She that is all the Shita did the Maga, Devani had Chibashagor, she not do the Veshadada, and then Shirama Shad so Shagorwa. The Simza by the Chidang Shadan, charging by the in a Gaja Charaction, Shadu Mendaya, the Yinasha Mendaya, the third of Gavadire. Karsa. So was that daughter was Gava, that Tamil so Rojimeva, Mojoju. Tunia Medavan Devagavas, Rojimeva, I think, with the Sachi. Rojim because he made a maid do this, never Bambash, Gaba, Sita, Tambon, Yagala, so Gambas took a dance. The Tambo Deva Jiva. The dark comes showing up in Deva, that's the most Masiba, Shugogo, Monshi, they're charging them, that did it. That the Joshua Castle. Pagavaja, the mother, Shogun Deva, that's the most in Hirayamaris. So this is what
this sugar again. This Shushaga. This is Shushaga, guess no. So we are doing chapter 10 from the Bodhisattva Guide. Which deals with the perfection of wisdom or pranjana paramita. And so in the textbook, we are looking at stanza number 4, if you are keeping track of things. So as Krishala read from the extensive commentary and explained, this section is called refuting arguments. Right, refutation of arguments, Chobapoma in Tibetan. So what we're talking about is that Maba, realist, okay, So realists are arguing or debating with the Madhyamikans or middle way philosophers that you claim that nothing exists truly or intrinsically. That really contradicts, how phenomena are experienced directly by ordinary people, right? How ordinary people, through our sensory perceptions, right, we do experience, visual forms, auditory sounds, and all of those things. So the realists are kind of debating with the Madhyamikans, middle philosophers, that when you say that nothing exists truly or intrinsically, then that really directly contradicts how we experience phenomena. And so it's not feasible, right? That's their argumentation. Why they say is that realists, Muamawa, they believe in true existence, right? Things are truly existent. Now, many Buddhist schools of thought are included in that terminology called Muamawa or realist. Vibhasikas, the first Buddhist school of thought, and above that is the Shantideva, Dodeva, second school of thought, and Chidamartins on mind-only school. All of them believe that things are truly existent. If things are not truly existent, they could not exist at all, right? So they are thinking that the Madhyamikans or the medieval philosophers are, invalidating the existence of everything, right? Because they said that's how, ordinary perceptions experience, and now you are telling us that they don't exist truly, and that's not feasible. Okay, so that's the argument, right, presented by the realists. And of course, the Madhyamikans are going to counter-argue and refute that argument. So that's called refuting the arguments. Basically, the Madhyamikans are going to say that even though things don't exist truly, but they do exist. We are not invalidating the existence of phenomena as you allege us, doing that. And as Geshe said, in every Buddhist school of thought, they present their notions of definitions of the true truth. Vibhasikas do that, and above that, Shantidevas do that, above that, Chidamartins do that, above that, Madhyamikans do that. Okay, and so all of them agree that there are true truths, conventional truth and ultimate truth. They don't have disagreement on that. But then, as we look into the definitions or the concept of the true truth in different schools, then the higher schools' presentations of the truths are, more refined, so to speak, isn't it? As compared to the lower schools' presentation of the true truths. And Chidamartins, the mind-only school, not only they do believe that things are truly existent, like the Vibhasikas and Shantidevas, right? All of them are realists. But then Chidamartins, one of the unique assertions is that there are no externally existent objects of phenomena, right? And that's their unique assertions. So now as we look at the higher schools of thought, as we say, higher schools mean Chidamartin, mind-only school of thought. Then above that is the Madhyamikans. Madhyamikans have two schools, Savatandika Madhyamikans and Prasangika Madhyamikans. Okay? So in a sense, as the higher levels, somewhere this seems to converge. But if we look into every details, then what we find is that there is difference in terms of identifying what's being negated, what's being refuted. Is called gaksha, very important technical term, right? The object of negation or the object of refutation. Of course, still the mind-only schools, object of negation is, relatively speaking, coarse as compared to, the object of negation identified by Prasangika Madhyamika schools. So this is how different schools, right, they get into debate with each others there. No.
That's what the angels are about. Because no matter good name, terrible, super bombs. Don't ever so. No, I check out what there's some. Royime Madu, Royime say, take me to say,
No.
and Kesi Roshi made the maid over there. Truna made out the capacity. Kesi Roshi made the maid over it. Gaden of Jagru those
No.
stitch. Then Karsa Roshi Meta, Dena, the Vakaba. Rohime was Nova Gabas. So Rohime say, Penning was Rero Kanjolas, also human goyer.
No.
was Toya, the Gozo Toya, Takarang, and Demacho, the Riaris, or did it.
No. So.
You see Demacho go this
No, so.
woman, Geshe
No.
Kaza. The Devagabas, Ranshi Meva, the Gozo University, make Toya, Amjo Koya to Gangozo University. That Ranshi Meva, long University, and Sanjay the Dijala Savasons, and the Ranshi Meva, the Yabasiado, Sumti Chekjo, Dijas of the Camden, but somewhere, and the Ranshi Yeva, somewhere Meva, and Jamra somewhere. So the Ranshi Mesa and the Sanjay the Ranshi Yu Song Chas, they long the gate of those.
No.
So
So.
that Kazi do never send somewhere. Rayima Motor, Rayima take my suggestion. They made their Karza Muslims on it, die with the bar. Devagaba, Rajim, Muslim Deva. That the dog also do share the Muslim do make to Amjo Koyat, Muslim Deva share. In a Karse, Muslim Devagaba, Rajim, long in Devagaba, and the Sanji Rangi, yes, and the Raji Yavasum, Yasum, the Raji Yavasum belong to the Yedo. So the Nation Sumter to
No.
Nation Sum could take months. This is
No. So realists, who believe that things exist just the way they appear to our sensory perceptions, isn't it? And so they are arguing with Madhyamikins, middle way philosophers. If you say that things don't exist truly or intrinsically, then that directly is contradicted by the direct experiences of ordinary people, because ordinary people see all kinds of things, like houses, mountains, rivers, everything, and they do exist, right? Just the way they assume they appear to exist for the ordinary perceptions. And so therefore, what you claim that things are not truly existent, intrinsic existent, is not feasible. Yeah? That's one argument, right? The things. Because for realists, existence is the same as true existence, intrinsic existence. If things don't exist truly, intrinsically, then they don't exist at all. That's their assertion. Now, the Madhyamikins, they said, well, there is a difference between true existence and existence. They are not one and the same thing, as you have conflated the two concepts, isn't it? There is a difference between intrinsic existence and existence. What we are saying is that things are not truly existent, intrinsically existent, but they are existent, right? And so that's the Madhyamikins are telling the realists. So as Geshe explained, that now they bring another sort of evidence, realist, to argue with the Madhyamikins. You said, well, if you say that things are not truly existent, intrinsic existence, then you are not accepting Buddha's words, because we will quote Buddha's words that Buddha did talk about how things are truly existent, intrinsic existent. So now you are invalidating Buddha's words, and that's not proper, right? That's not feasible, right? And of course, the Madhyamikins will say that Buddha taught everything in accordance with the mental disposition, the capacity of people. Yes, we give it to you. Like in relation to certain people, or under certain circumstances, Buddha did say things are truly existent. You're right, right? But in other situations and conditions for some other people, Buddha said things are not truly existent, not intrinsic existent. So Buddha said both things, and which is the real one, so to speak, is where Buddha said that things are not truly existent, right? So that's how the argumentation goes back and forth.
어디 가서 다 당번에 이거 가서 그때 있었대요. 내가 가서 쇼하면 돼봐. 자지기 무엇 마시바. 쇼도 보고 멍시 유배해서. 늘 쇼지도 쇼지 되었어. 쇼하면 저번에도 그거디스. 그래서 다가지 다다 조주 싸워 가서 네 저봐 될이야. 나면 쇼가면 뒤밭 거야. 자지 무엇 싫어요 말이지. 랜드 무엇 요리 제가 뒤선다. 다 쇼가면 뒤밭에 니만 제외 세히시기 있어. 어디서 다. 그래서 쇼가면 뒤밭 자지 무엇 세버 쇼고 또 그거 마시바 유에 늘쇼 남의 저번에 그거디스. 다디 잘 무엇면 다바 제외 세디 간디오 두지 데레스. तेरे मुँह था नारे से वो मुँह था सेंधा समझमा मिंजे दे समझमा से दो देवा शिरा मुँह समझे कुछ जागो चुपता ला से नेंजो बा ओमा बे से रिबे नेवा शेवा में देते ओमा बे शेदाम शेरा शिबेवा के ले yang रही बेबे जुजी बेबे शिर शेरस माजुब दे ओमा बे मुँह more regime drive juye nga go mo ba shugo go mo ni ga le yang ni ga la yang ni zubar tha yi zubar de melem da sungye so ji si pe de te be yang da go be se shile de ni shugo la regime ba to shu la la ngoma omma be ngor deba job yo this pede de bu che nikala tuno de chebe pe ya da ba de me be te job nu de jobali ngon ta da ngo me to shuba ne deba che la cheda de ran shin yi shen da la khon shuba de la de no ma no sheda Tirang jele jang sedar men tang yumala sobada rang cho ju pe ko ni ji de ji go bonam ji me ji de to su chubar de ba de ga ji go mo ro ji da je ba ji de shu ba de wa la mai de ni ga la cha be pe me be shi ru ji song des de me ju be de de bula Demi chava tumbi devdu, mangeba, shuji devdu. Demi sebe ngaba shami nibi shuru, deni. Ngago uma be, shigo ngoma wala. Tawzola deni, ume tawa jedu dendus. Deda, konje, ngoma zu dema chava isla. Ende, tejuwa dema macho rashi mes daza, tati yus dema sushi, dema shawo sena. Demi se Jordan, ti dema me pedele ya, na go mo da, sigo mo ni ga tunali ya pe, minum de jimala saba, zume pe mambo yores. Sila zume pe mambo yores, ti go zuba jores. Ta no mago ti o ya. Demba ibi pet yo, niga tunari pe yo maris. Demba yede didi pe dina gise, dembe pe yo maris. Seta dembe pe mi da demba yuwa di ruyagi. Tunji ro mazang ro. Ti tunji mazang da demba yuwa drop tu maris. Demba meba drop tu ri, meba ruyagi tunbe di tunari yo da demba meba drop tu ri. Demba yuwa ruyagi pe yo maris, pe mi da ni shigo to tu maris. Seta di ya ngoma dema meba mawa she karsa yoba jowa da mawa da tejo dema meba mawa da kuni ta karsa kien jowa da kanjan jego se na nika chibe pe yumi kon jigaris da dema meba di minum da sungya la saba nika li semza ma ngoma wakin dugo minum zuba dugo rwa se da di pe yori da dema ibe pe zan yomar ti miye za ini ngoma ya tejo wale Dema yeba drop to maris. Tejo ngoma demi drop to guri. Yigala chube pe yoris. What is that?
Ngwe mawagi kasake umapalia 현재 덴바를 유에 빼고 두고 말씀을
덴바
그래. 아니 덴바 유에
유에
빼
주고
덴바 유에 빼도 뭐 마고 코란스 거 말어 그디.
제가
혼자
내가 뭐 다다 태조로 시고로
몰라.
제가 뭐뭐 태우면 두세 근데 내가 요래 셔 무슨 누구도 되게 해서로
몰라.
제가 디페런트 말이스 저는 내가 요새는 맞는데 내가 입에 빼요 말마스 빼면서 태요를 접도 말이스
알레 줄도 두고 말씀.
접도 파 태요 뭐 데미 접도 그래서 네가 저는 빼면서 송해를 뭐요 접도
So as Geshe read from the extensive commentary and explained that when we look in this, what we call the root text of great Bodhisattva Mahasattva Shantideva in the guide, the assertions of the opponents are not really spelled out clearly or discussed, right? They are more like assumed. And then the Madhyamikans are trying to refute them, right? That's what we. So that's why the commentator says, because of that, then I have to spell out, right, the assertions of the opponents before you understand how Madhyamikans are refuting the assertion, because those are not clearly in the root text, So as Geshe explained, now first we look at the realists arguing with the Madhyamikans, right? We understood their reasoning, isn't it? They said, if you say that things are not truly existent, then that is contradicted directly by the sensory perceptions of ordinary beings, right? Because things do exist. For them, when they say things do exist, they do exist truly. That's one evidence. Another evidence they say is that, Buddha has talked about, right, how things are truly existent. So now you are not accepting Buddha's words, right? That's the second evidence, isn't it? And the third one is that you have no evidence on your side to establish that things are not truly existent, right? So three-pronged or three different reasons, So now the Madhyamikans have to address, right, and refute those rationals or evidence one. So the first one, as we said, Madhyamikans try to clarify to the realists, for you, existence is the same as true existence. That is where the problem is, isn't it? But there is a difference between existence and true existence. And there is a difference between non-existence, right, complete non-existence, and non-intrinsic existence, right? So you are conflating those concepts, and that's where you are kind of, stuck in your assertion. And another thing is that there are evidence to establish that things are empty of true existence or things are not truly existent. You are saying we don't have it, there is evidence, okay? So the realists tell them that, well, you have no evidence to prove that. So Madhyamikans says, actually, we have a lot of examples that you and I will both agree, right? So through the use of these examples, we can also establish that things are not truly existent intrinsically, with me. So the examples accepted by both schools of thought are dreams, what you experience in dreams, right? Or the reflection of face in the mirror, right? Or the illusion. So you also accept that what you experience in dreams is not real, false, right? And the reflection of face in the mirror is false. You accept that too, So we have plenty of examples that we both accept, and through the use of those examples, we can, prove to you that things are not truly existent as you claim. Okay? But on the other hand, you have no example to support your case for us, right? You claim that things are truly existent. You have not a common example, isn't it? An example that you and I both can accept. We have example that we both can accept and talk about it. But you have no example that we both can accept, and you still prove to me that things are truly existent. Right? Do you see the? Good.
Oh, this is what I think. 고규를 가가 따된 조가 가가 내 투베데 샤워 조고 세다 투베 메이자 정신 예베데 투베 메이자 디고 도 말이스 Oma beba te mari beba rayi beba de tübe de melum de sunye de melum de sunye kora beba de sigo mardi melum beba da gaga zuba melum de mi se beba yoba mi ya yorwa zuba
No.
o cheta da zube pe ma bo yori debe pe yo mar cheso pe di kokyu su gaga ale nge pe de mangye ba de en chuje de jubse jubra ye to mar cheso pe mo de jogo ris ta mo ma pe mi du si en tenyo de me jo pe yo iza ta ko ni du se on da pe de mo de ya yo de me jo la du si de jo de ya mi du si pe mi du si pe mi de jo to marwa
No, sir.
se ke ba chi ta he tenyo de me jo pa cao de sa ne mo ma de ge de jo ya jo si na ko yi chi ba jo ji kele mi de me chi ba ba ti kele mi de na ko yi yapjung jubje de sablu chani intejo doto is what is it.
No, sir. So as Geshe explained, that how the debates are traditionally done, arguments take place, right? They use what we call syllogisms, right? So the syllogism would consist of a subject and predicate and reasoning, isn't it? So before anybody can use the reasoning to establish the predicate as a characteristic of the topic, they have to find a common example, right? Establish on that. And then after that, then they will be able to use the reasoning. Said, because now you know how this reasoning is working with the example, we both agree. Now try that reasoning on the topic under debate, and you will understand that. You know what I mean? So that's why this example, common example, becomes very pertinent here, isn't it? And Madhyama beings are telling them, look, right? So we have a lot of examples, even you accept them to be what we call false. And through the use of this, we can indicate to you and establish that things are not truly existent. On the other hand, you have no example that you and I could both accept. So then prove your reasoning on the basis of that example, right? Without example, right? And then how does that work? So that's the issue, we are kind of dealing with here, right? Of course, the Madhyamikans said the examples we both agree are dreams, reflection of face in the mirror, and illusion or magical illusion, whatever, right? Of course, Madhyamikans are not saying dreams don't exist. Okay, what they're saying is what you experience in the dream, they appear real, but they are unreal, right? That's the example. Not that dreams don't exist at all, they do. Madhyamikans are not refuting the reflection of a face in the mirror, because that exists, isn't it? But what they're saying is face appears as real in the mirror to you, but it does not exist as such. That is the deceptiveness nature of the things, and you agree with that too, isn't it? The illusions exist, but they appear to us in one way, they exist in another way, and you accept that deceptiveness. So through these examples, we can use our reasoning to establish that things are not truly existent, right? Whereas you have no such example, right, to establish to us that things are truly existent. The example that is accepted by both of us, isn't it? So that's the part of the argumentation going on here. Okay? Yeah.
Oh, this young woman that kid there was another him the Sanji told this in so the lover told me you the top of you got maybe. Rajim many Rajim made she this. What did that? Cause it did you change it Rangi made a bear. What did that? Vegetation or that? Jerry was more than the same.
No,
Jerry was yes, and Chevashan Sumra.
no, sir.
Timothy, here you made me say, York Cario said, you seen you know, you are the regime and maybe I think I get the way she was tuned to go. This was what the time they got the this was the curse and regime and may go. You know, you go, what is on that? And you made me say, Carikas and 让人们的面下的有的那些个浪着吃过，但挺有的嘛意思。因为其实那些人们呢，龙上一把开始噻，老吃嘴里啊，让些一百七八七，没百七八七，可以七八么就是，我听说的当下没那些，你就些，这么让些一把，这是没把些，你一个多些呢，一定一把下多嘛是吧？现在就是。第八路好像让些因为可能七八么就用嘴一把的他，吃完之后些也是不是吃药了，我听说的这是，但是你做完这个，有的让些那没我听说完现在这下是。
So the arguments that we have witnessed are premised on the notion that the realists hold that if things exist, then they must exist truly, isn't it? For them, existence and true existence are synonym, one and the same thing. Yeah? And they are not able to differentiate between, right, the non-true existence and non-true existence and existence, and they're not able to differentiate between complete non-existence and non-true existence. Okay, so as Geshe explained, that until Lama Tsongkhapa, who's behind me, came on the scene, footnote 14th century. Right, I mean, a lot of how should I say? Even scholars believe that existence means true existence. Right, they were not able to differentiate between existence and true existence as the realists do. So when Lama Tsongkhapa came, so he clarified all these extremes. He said, things, there is a difference between existence and what we call the true existence. There is the difference between non-true existence and complete non-existence. So if you don't understand these distinctions, then we are going to get caught up in that loopy-loop thing, as the realists are. So this is very important. Often Madhyamikans are alleged or accused of nihilists. They don't believe in anything that exists, right? But that's not true, because other schools have not been able to make those distinctions as Lama Tsongkhapa laid out. And once again, Geshe says Lama Tsongkhapa, in many of his works, especially Lekshe Nyingbo, Essence of Eloquent Explanation, right? So where he talked about the three possible ways things could appear to perceptions. One is things appear to perceptions as truly existent, right? That's one. Another one is things would appear to perceptions as non-truly existent. Second one, right? The third one is things appear to perceptions neither truly existent nor non-truly existent. Are you with me? So these three possible perceptions are very important. If we don't have the third one, then we are not able to establish that things do exist. That's what I mean? Like people who believe that things appear to us as truly existent, therefore they must exist truly. So they are eternalists, right? And those to whom things appear as non-truly existent, right? So now they think that things don't exist at all, because that's how it is. The third option says things appear to perceptions as neither, right? So that tells us that things are existent. Are you with me? So this is the kind of the great contribution of Lama Tsongkhapa, where we make distinctions among those different appearances and the distinction between existence, true existence, complete non-existence, and non-true existence. Yeah.
대다 그 타예다고 땅동 째니 이路是的是吧大些见呢民意经马大马些吧民家都有脏的国呢日本就没得不多呗现在的是别些国呢人少就会别些现在让些没多一现在就没不等的呢人少怕进现那怕进一名到经上些头些就了东西都会现在就没不得钱呢怕进现那怕进一名没多进上些头些就是没有去对吧嘞没不没吧小长间呐老也没些从些时候看了就现在们的秘密跑出去看的没不没吧就是的可是没不没吧没呗从些时候你们看这现在给的用处新是吧这就是这民意就是내 명토부 해다 주발레자 시다 로면스고 데라 디 민데 집지 데와 유지와디 데알리 메뉴요디 바 제니로 해송서 데다기 시진 레셴비 진소는 지부사 저와 시진라레바 데도스 데다 거기 돈이도 바 셔라메나 에 태와서 저주 그냥 또 말이지 거기다 저주 야 저주를 채워야 너 농가 믿고 배웠지네 저 농지 배웠어 농가 탕 샤셔나 고랑가 이야요 말아 그래서 지소 해당가 농가 때문에 근데 친구들 나 이제 돈이도 버셔야 되면은 이거 네 탈바서 주고 저도 말이지 어디 가르세나 농가들이야 튕기면은 in the Translator by so the cover dog there do to over what did you what is
So as Geshe read from the commentary explained that the perfection of wisdom, Gyan Paramita, meaning the wisdom that realizes emptiness, wisdom gone beyond, is a must in order to achieve any of the goals of the three vehicles or yanas, right? In order to attain the nirvana of Sharvakas, hearers, the wisdom realizing emptiness is essential, must. In order to realize the nirvana of solitary realizers, Pratyeka Buddha, wisdom realizing emptiness is a must. In order to realize the Buddhahood, enlightenment, for the sake of everybody, wisdom realizing emptiness is must. There is no other way around that, right? That is essential perfection, paramita. As a matter of fact, because of this wisdom perfection, the other five perfections, have the privilege to be called perfections, isn't it? The other five perfections, from generosity, the perfection of Dan paramita, generosity, to the perfection of samadhi, concentration, metaphorically speaking, without the wisdom, are like blind, a group of blind people. They want to go to their destination, none of them see the destination, so they might never get there, right? They might always go wrong way. Now, if they have a guide with a good eyesight, then they can lead a whole group of blind people wherever they want to go, just like that. The guide here is the wisdom realizing emptiness, the perfection of wisdom, right? Because of this wisdom, that the other five perfections are also called perfections, right? Now they are able to take us to our, the destination.
이 땅동에 내만이나 매번 고추 말이스. 땅동 마제 마다 마제 버샤그리스. 나다디 로도 저 대대히오서. 마제 마다 버샤그리 땅동에 ሸ그 말이스. 민가 따유세야 저기서 어제다 민가 따유세야 ሸ그다. 에 데도 까니. 이 민서 따르던 샤고세야데. 이 데메 마도 봐도 이 데도다 데메 그 요새 사좀저도 배 딱다지 하고 말씀으로
No, so.
내면 또다니 지네 다 그 요즘 내가 쓰요 다 내말 네 수질이야 터버려 그래요. 요단 이제 요새 어디 해와디 내면 또 모두 하고 말씀으로
No,
제가
so.
디 마게다 세다 요는 된로 인고세 내도 내가 뭐든 매도 세고 그 유지도 호텔도 가지.
No, so. So for the Madhyamikans or the middle way philosophers, in my footnote, we are really talking about Prasangika Madhyamikans, okay? When we say here Madhyamikans. So they, assert that all phenomena are empty of true existence, intrinsic existence, okay? And all phenomena exist as something merely labeled by terms and concepts, right? No more, no less. That's how things exist, isn't it? So if we can accept that things are merely labeled by terms and concepts and they function just fine at that level, then we have no issues. But if you put the phenomena under microscopic analysis, ultimate analysis, so what is that thing, right? Whatever that thing is, right? We just try to find as if something has to be found to be pinpointed as, here, right? Nothing can be found, isn't it? Under the ultimate kind of analysis, nothing is findable. But on the other hand, things do exist, right, conventionally, and they just fulfill their functions. And how is that happening is because things are merely labeled by terms and concepts, right? That's what the Madhyamikans are, telling them. So the realists are not able to, right, understand that whole concept. For them, if things exist, they must exist truly. If they don't exist truly, they should not and cannot exist at all, isn't it? They have conflated the true existence and existence as the same thing. And from Madhyamikan point of view, that kind of existence is non-existence. There is nothing that exists truly. True existence asserted by the realists, Chetamatins, Sautrantikas, Vaibhasikas, Geshe didn't say it. It's a figment of imagination for us, right? There's no such existence called true existence, It's refuted by the Madhyamikans, right? True existence refuted, and what is established is that things exist conventionally, and things are merely labeled by terms and concepts. Tokpe taksam, very useful Tibetan terminology. And what that tells us that things do not exist truly. They are not findable as truly existent when you put them under microscopic analytical analysis, right? But that does not mean things don't exist at all. They do exist at the nominal level. Yeah. So that's what the Madhyamikans are basically telling the realist. And then as Geshe said, that until we realize emptiness of true existence, it's really hard to be able to differentiate between existence, right, and it's really difficult to be able to differentiate between true existence, right? Temba druba ta temba moduba keba chesing musumbe.
Temba druba yuji phumba yuesi go
No.
phumba yeba da temba yeba keba chetu mari.
Alone. So until we realize emptiness, if we use a vase or a pot as example, we will not be able to differentiate between how the vase exists, but it does not exist truly. Right? That distinction could only be understood when we realize emptiness. Until then, they just kind of fuse together, isn't it? The existence and true existence are fused together in our perception, and we are not able to differentiate it.
What is it? That temba yuba da yube kebarti. What is it? Till tone ten that yora ganga yuba temba yuba da yube kebar chema till shoni in the chuba ganga tini yungo.
No, so.
Till ya sega to temba yuba da yube kebar shia jerbu jiwoji share modo. Tanda no the chu cheda to the quiver to na Deba mene me do aji sorji mo do ji. Deba me wa yuwa dire hidun sha to ma ro.
No, so.
Nega do cha de oriste.
No, so. So as Geshe said earlier, thanks to Lama Tsongkhapa Rinpoche, who clarified the distinction between existence and true existence, complete non-existence and non-true existence. Until then, in many traditions of Tibetan Buddhism, right, the notion is similar to the realists. They think that if something exists, it must exist truly. If it doesn't exist truly, then it should not exist at all, right? And so because of that notion, right, if you feel that existence and true existence are the same thing, then all kinds of distorted perceptions and misconceptions arise from that, isn't it? From that grasping, right, at a true existence. So we have to understand the distinction between existence and true existence. So what we are saying is we are refuting not the existence, we are refuting true existence. Even though the true existence is refuted, then we establish the existence of the thing. So until we realize emptiness, right, it is very hard in our perceptions to differentiate between existence and true existence of any phenomenon. Right. Yeah.
Well, that Tarva Dam Tawala, Tony Moto Yomaris, Tony Dog this, that the Kursa, Tabji Chabu Komotola, in a Tony Dog Hirajo Maria. Sauzu Simbu.
No, so.
Said that the Kursa, this was Kursa, some 6-year-old Kursa. Yella did that time in
No.
your Susan.
No.
To be here at home, the Sums.
No.
Said that Yella that touches is on the Chilu, don't you hear of my but the Chilu Yale Kagade. Don't you hear of the yard, here Nivachimo, Nudea Tanda, and tea draws so is. So there are Sauzu down the Chindu Yale woman in the Sanjio top to Marastesta, in land that time in the TV here on the song, so the head of the yard, Nivachimo. Sauzu Sim and they don't you hear of the Hitabong do Maro.
No.
Sauzu Sim, the Shindu Yale, it's Moto.
No.
So that this was the Shindu Hida the idea. Don't you hear never Shibuya on the song is what is it?
So as we said earlier, the wisdom realizing emptiness, in this context, the perfection of wisdom, is essential in order to achieve the nirvana and enlightenment of the different vehicles, right? There's no other way around that. Having said that, the wisdom gone beyond alone is not adequate to be able to achieve Buddhahood or enlightenment. And we need that wisdom to be integrated with bodhicitta, or the altruistic mind of enlightenment, bodhisattva's attitude. Why, if you ask, right? Because the wisdom realizing emptiness alone is not strong enough, powerful enough to be able to eliminate the imprints of afflictive emotions or shediv, cognitive obscuration to enlightenment. In order to get rid of the cognitive obscuration to enlightenment, in Tibetan called shediv, then the power of the wisdom must be amplified by the bodhicitta, right? And then it becomes very potent to be able to get rid of the imprints of the delusions. That's why. Yeah, so that's why in the beginning of this chapter 9, Shantideva tells us all of these practices were taught by the Mighty One, meaning Buddha, for the sake of wisdom. Therefore, those who wish to pacify suffering should generate this wisdom, isn't it? So in order to achieve enlightenment, we not only need the wisdom realizing emptiness, but we also need the other 5 perfections, isn't it? The perfection of generosity to the perfection of samadhi. So all together, then we are able to accumulate the necessary merit and wisdom to be able to become Buddha or enlightened being. Yeah.
Well, this is because don't you that because you don't have a tower, don't you double rally, 탐지 쳐봤다 원래 뒤가 선수쌤이 생구리지. 우리 대신 그래서 네 빼도 되려와 그래서 이 돈이도 싫어 뉴데시아 될 그래서 세대 그래서 미래 집이 되어 유치원이 되어 미용용도 얘기로 쓰라고 세다 매그 longa 뭐보지나 이 팅게 lon지 약보지나 그 소소 삼주 종제로 가가지고 있는 다다지기로 다디 팅게라면 이 거기서 삼주가 종제로 가가지고 데려가 이랬으나 레베야 요마로 고랑가 통고마로 와 어디서 이제 돈도 해면 사실 뭐 톱도 빼지냐.
So if our goal is to find nirvana or freedom of liberation for oneself from samsara, then what is essential is to cultivate the wisdom realizing emptiness. You don't need bodhicitta for that. Okay? But if our goal is to become fully enlightened being, Buddha, then it is essential that we integrate the wisdom realizing emptiness with bodhicitta, because the wisdom alone is not powerful enough to get rid of cognitive obscuration, which is the imprints of delusions on my mind, cognitive obscuration to enlightenment. So that's why great Indian master Chandrakirti, in his supplement to the Middle Way, right, tells us with this metaphor that the wisdom is like a guide, and the 5 other perfections is like a group of 5 blind friends. So if the 5 blind friends are alone by themselves, they may want to go somewhere, their destination, without help, they can't get there, right? But with a guide, then they can get there. So like that, for the other perfections to help us to be able to create the necessary causes and conditions to become Buddha, the wisdom is essential, isn't it? And so that's why to be a Buddha, we need to practice all the 6 perfections, paramitas, and we need to integrate bodhicitta and the wisdom realizing emptiness.
Rangon Sosik Shawashiba Kaling Gola. Take him in Muslim La Nyumba Sela, Nyumba Sela. Take him in the Kuja tell us Dember Tuba, she says, Chegi, Bing Shin Tuba Major, a Major, Major Lai, Turan Shin Tuba Kill. was song to be Ubucha, millions of Tommy the cases, that data, because you go about Dokoro, that money data. Shoot out in the Rangun, Shawashi, Jimmy Shawashi, spend the curtain, may pushing somebody, and it looked that was a matter, make her a pushing cigar was. But then I hear shoot out in the Korosu Shawadu Shiori. But this was the Telerahi Tribasi. And there tell you the Rahi Tribasi Malana. Koran Shawashi, and Korahi Tribari. So the Telerahi mother says, Lavina, means of making Toda Rahi to kill him. Kanji, you did not kill and Rahi to race with that. That came on that Rahi, you didn't kill Malan, don't Rahi to kill him with it. Timalan, you didn't kill him. So that this was the means of Mogi, Toda, she didn't do what we do. What this is that.
So the realists, of course, in the commentary, they try to spell out their assertions and what kind of examples they may use to say that things are truly existent, right? That's what they believe. Things exist, that means they exist truly, And so one of the examples they give is the fire and fuel, isn't it? Fire and woods. So they said when you lit the fire burns the wood. Okay, and so that means that this kind of relationship between fire and the wood, is truly existent. It's not you are imagining that the fire is burning the wood. It is really happening. That's it. It's not just like you're thinking, oh, is fire burning? That's not an imaginative thing. It's really the fire is burning the wood, right? So that's what we call true existence or intrinsic existence. So now they tell the Madhyamikans, you may use the language non-true existence, whatever. Don't confuse me with all these jargons here, right? But if you believe in the law of cause and effect, right? In reality, they said you are accepting true existence. You can use any kind of jumbo, rumbo, whatever thing, right? I don't care, right? But in reality, they said, if you accept the law of cause and effect, then as real, right? Not you just imagining it. Then in reality, you are with us. You are a realist. You believe in true existence, and yeah, you can use any fancy words, right? I'm not going to pay attention to that.
I said, "Zeba deyan se, meso toshi de ngo no rashi me na me, teme di joshi, yo na ya rashi yo go ki, deni gendu zeba was. The liking was your, you na rashi me na me ma kona was a dike se ta kani. Mo ma se ganga, rashi iwa toshi, rashi me toshi ro de.
So basically, this whole argument is coming from the realists believing that existence translates into true existence, and non-true existence translates into complete non-existence, right? And that's their assertion. And so all of these, the arguments they are laying out are rooted in that assertion. Okay.
What did Jigdiba yes, Mela Sobe, Governor, Gover the Shawashi number, New Mindibas, Semeton, Kera, but some Dralas, Omoina, Dragoma, Sena, may produce what anybody, Penatopsis and Shogo Javajo, to get the US years ago, Marwa.
No.
Then tell you, get over that was of years. Go Rashi, yes, so that could do that in the Muji. Chitang was a Tongsu Chuaga, you say, I think what Messing Diri, Dala. No, my Termas, Yantava Juba, the drum you do, Dodging, Sheba Shi, they made Jumata of Kong Shua Mela. All the Sai Sibi, Shawashi, Meda. Ti tsai sibi shawa shiwa tachi, toba takzi mado, shu kanga yung rangu ni shawa shi nuji, ki tongba shawa shi yu tongba, dendo jimata bu kudu shiwa na, den nyanshar para, oma pada, jideba nguma wata rangi, Shendu the killing between bears, on the Zodos or did that. So the Zoga did the Jidan may thought, please see what she wanted. Umas the Rashi secrets. Oma Betabas your mercy, or the middle Zuba yard about here, that Rashi about the Yavani Medimas, Tillitsur. There's no Omabada, Jideva Gumata. This was said, Nilu Shinget inside you.
No.
The dinner said, the Guma, so Shasu is.
No.
Killing with the base, only Zodos, said that you are the base, producing what you want to do. You are the chick body, tell Rashi, you may do ya, tell him, you got a base, show, because producing music, did by your Marwa.
No, sir. No, sir. So the Madhyamikans or the middle way philosophers are kind of clarifying also things to the realists. Okay? The example you just gave, right, that the fire burning the woods, that's not our point of debate. We accept it. Fire burns the fuel. If you eat food, your hunger is eliminated. That's not the whole topic of our argumentation. The argumentation we have is you are saying that fire is truly right? Burning the fuel, right? Burning the fuel in the sense of true existence, something happening from its own side, isn't it? Yeah. And that's what it is. We disagree with you. We are saying that yes, fire is consuming the fuel, but not truly. That is our debate, not that the fire is burning the fuel, right? That's not debate at all. That we can see with our perception. Everybody sees it, and so that's not our debate there. So what we are saying is that fire is consuming the fuel, or if you are hungry, you eat food, that takes care of your problem. Now you are full. And all of these things are happening as a merely labeled, right, by terms and concept. They are not happening in terms of intrinsicness or true existence. That's our point, right? That's what you insist is happening. So we are saying that phenomena are just like an illusion. They appear to you in one way, they exist in another way, right? There is a disparity between how they appear to exist and how they actually exist, And that disparity tells us that things are not truly existent, No. So Madhyamikans are called in the text called yogis, right? Ninjaba, right? In this terminology, and the realists, those who believe in true existence, are called the worldly, the worldly ones, yeah.
Nipa su rashi chuba mena su so tunga rashi chuba tar nashi. There mega musum so angu nga semar soye musu tonga den gero shena. Minge de su so yunga mixo angu musu seme chuba yi jangde jigde bala chagbe chibe suzo kunzobe nuru zam sema suwa inje suzo ye nilu dikona yil sema suwa menshin tendewe sema dikona yeshin chuba mayende kede ina turdun suzo kiu yuye anshin ye suzo ye nilu dikona yil musu du toshin Seme yebar regona, seme yebar kelegona, then medede, ingedi jebole, make the nona semami, shada, Yuda yija semende, kede ambo de the tsena, pabella ye, sura jisha, shada, valeja, kede jide sema inane, jide titan, passion. Shikupawe shiki lamba semaro moyno. Shizo ye dedagi nelula semaye na pagba palon jewa gumi de tawa so ye jongju zene gagbe sos. O dere da de muzu nudu sa su da datu muzu na ye shiba de mega muzu to di nudu silarwa. O di kunzo to rimade 수소 내로 디마데 통도 말이지. 그래서 내로 통도에 내는 람금 고야면도 가시. 또 수주가 가서 통도 람금 고야면서 어디 가요 그래서 세다 가서 제대바게 에네 메가 나와서 다도 군저도 이와 통리마도 다이 수자주 내로도 통야 말이지. Tibetan control the Ticonan Tema Maris, new Tatu Sema Maris, Kunzo Sema Rimas, Nilu Tema Maris, or the Muzu New Maria Theatre. He goes to Muzu New.
No. So, if you recall that one of the reasonings and evidence realists brought to debate with the Madhyamikans, middle way philosopher, is that if you say things don't exist truly as we believe, then that is directly contradicted by the direct perceptions of ordinary people, right? That's how ordinary people experience a sight and sound and smell and everything, right? And so now Madhyamikas are saying that actually that is not contradicted by what's happening is that ordinary people see forms and things. They can hear sound, right? They smell things, all of these things. Their perceptions are dealing with conventionalities, conventional phenomena. And their perceptions are valid in regard to what they are seeing and what they are smelling and what they are tasting, okay? We are not denying that. Their perceptions are not dealing with the ultimate nature of the objects, isn't it? They are not dealing with, for example, the visual perception is seeing form, but it is valid perception to the form, but it's not a valid perception to the emptiness of the form, right? The visual perception is not dealing with how things actually exist, which is the ontological status of phenomena. Are you with me? Yeah. But if you still insist that the ordinary sensory perceptions are seeing the ultimate nature of the phenomena, well, then what's the difference between ordinary people and Aryas, transcendental beings, right? Why do we bother to cultivate spiritual paths and become Aryas? We don't need to do that. We are already seeing emptiness of everything with our sensory perceptions, isn't it? Are you with me? That's not what it is happening. So the Madhyamikans are telling realists, yes, we do not deny the sensory perceptions validly, right, experiencing their respective objects, form to the whatever touch, isn't it? But these perceptions are not accessing or perceiving the emptiness of everything there, okay? Because they're not object. But if you still insist these perceptions of ordinary are seeing emptiness of everything, then we don't need to cultivate any path. We don't need to do practice. We are already seeing emptiness, right? So what are the Aryas doing? Doing a lot of practice and cultivating the path to realize emptiness.
Chana shedar na rangzen ki chube zumba yin na su de pen pume ge lu me zwa la soba ju de la zwa na chaba da suja ta ge se tabala suja ta ge tabala jide na metabala tabata dunge wa devata da mewa da so chaja chaba teta majoba shende suyo go jigde na chaba namja namzu da nezu mi dishin che mi sebe zimba jimata wi nos o teta da ji kesa be lo no tende yo mas lo no se ya bodan ya ga yebata du bodan du go be chaba yo maris but you do this premier be shaba zangman ro de zigo de zangmas kai marwas maison de sum ta du sa ye de zangma yo mar de shin ko zangman de go yes ta de ne ji de na me ta ba si ro zigo yo me ta ba no kaza ta ba da ta ba se yo wa no en du ge de wa da me da so chaja chaba de ma ro shen de se suzo de wa jigden de chaba da ne zo de no zo me di je me se be zumba yuma ta bi no so te jigde ba be no ze ganga be tsama de ganga tsama she ma ris te ne karza da me da yuma ta go de ta ene le je me wa jo ja ka ji me wa jo ene jide ba ta ji sha jo no 하장 타그레스 어디야다 지데바 노조 노시가가 비 세미저와 샤고 마리스 어디서 왔다 가지
So if you're tracking down, I think what Geshe explains, it pertains to stanza number 6 there. So Madhyamikans are telling realists that how things appear to the ordinary perceptions are not always correct, not necessarily valid. For example, like those who are lustful and obsessive attachment issues, they look at men and women's body as very clean, but in reality it's not clean. Yeah? Because to their perceptions, right, men and women's body appear very clean because of their lustfulness and the attachment thing, isn't it? Not only that, ordinary people, perceive that which is impermanent as permanent, right? Remember, we talked about how self is asserted as a permanent entity. But self is not permanent, but that's how it appears to some ordinary perceptions, and they believe that's how it is, And ordinary people consider that which is in the nature of suffering as blissful, right? Happiness, and that's not true. So you see that the ordinary perceptions are not reliable necessarily. Things could appear to ordinary perceptions in one way, and they may be different in another way, So I think we are going really slow, which I appreciate it. So now we come back to Q&A, and we go first to the online, our invisible Dharma brothers and sisters, wherever you are. Yeah.
We have a few questions so far.
Sure, but if there are too many questions combined, give me one at a time, okay?
Yes.
Otherwise, I might make a there, not good.
The first question is a follow-up to a question Geshe answered last week.
Sure.
So that's a little bit of context.
Okay.
So this person says, I understood Geshe-la's answer at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I understood his answer to be that that not only... So let me start again. I apologize. I understood Geshe-la's answer that not only conventional truths, but also ultimate truths exist only in the perceptions of the consciousnesses of sentient beings.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that person understood Geshe-la's response.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that mean that all phenomena only exist within the minds of sentient beings? How can prasangikas say that there are external objects opposing the mind-only school?
Tiwa tangbu shwe de rowa gen, kazan ngema tiwa kandi ji shun is rowa kazan sa nyema la, gengi len na wa di korang ge sa rowa gen, tenpa nyi ge namsha di ene semjen ge rowa gen, ene karsa wada bige tadan thon de rowa gen, sha insa de skunzab tenpa tindam tenpa rowa gen. Je ta korang tirin tiwa sawa shwe de rowa gen. The Tiring Sava Shue de Rwa Tiwa de Rwagen. And a church hamje Yuba this Rwagen. Semjin Yugi, number 7, Nanglo Yuba in us Rwage. Semjin Namshake Nanglo net in Rwage. Yuba ina and a Tenju Wagi and Chidin US contest love to Gres Rwage. La Rwage. Tanda Semda Bagi Chidin Mel of Rwage. And Uma Bagi Chidin Kagi or Rwa. And it's church hamje Semjin that Nyowa Samda, Namshanal net in us Rwage. And the Chidin Yuba contest to go res again. Uma Bagi.
치동 여와 다 미국 통화도 그 암조 거야죠. 다른 시동을 했습니다. 다 암조 거야 미국 속 통화해라.
No. 얘네 church hamje again same nalu years ago Marwage. Uma Bagi.
쌤도 예식을
No, right. So first to clarify that Madhyamikans do not claim that things only exist in minds, okay? But that seems like right. Things exist in the perceptions or the minds of the sentient beings, right? So the question is then how can they say that there are external objects, isn't it? But Geshe says no, Madhyamikans don't say that things only exist in the perceptions of the minds of sentient beings. Things do exist, just like we see form exists, right? Sound exists. So these are what Madhyamikans call, whatever you see, what you hear, these do exist externally. These are externally existent phenomena. Okay?
Another question.
Sure.
Isn't saying that phenomena exist as magical illusions and conceptual imputation implying that phenomena are entirely dependent on the mind on the conventional level?
Sure. Okay. Kandi shue niba de roage, chue tamje lo roage, ane tokbe ta wata in roage, ta ni yube inas roage, da kumana shi roage, shide kala chue tamje yubalia inji minji, ane tokba sako semlia te gugu is roasage, semla mother ne chue yu chogo is samarasuge, shidub chogo mtita roage. Right. Yes, when we say that phenomena are merely labeled by terms and concepts, that means they are very much dependent on terms and concepts, isn't it? And without such dependency, which is the mind, right? Terms and concepts of the mind, nothing can exist. Okay. Okay, let's come back to here. And then if there are questions, we'll go back to them. We will alternate, right?
Introductions to many sutras, it's mentioned that there are all kinds of beings are present and listening to the Buddha's teaching. And some of them have gone beyond, so they don't have our kind of senses.
Can you speak a little louder? I'm getting distorted version. Yeah.
A little.
Yeah. You can start, please. Yeah.
So, in the introduction to many of the Buddha's sutras, there's a description of the beings that are attending his teachings. And some of them are sentient beings, but some of them are not. Some of them have gone beyond. So how do they have like telepathy that they directly receive in their consciousness from Buddha's consciousness to their own? So in view of that, is it also possible that people who've gone beyond could be here right now and they're also listening to Geshe-la's teachings? Is that how it works?
Sure.
Like a telepathy?
Okay, thank you. Mora kandi shwe de disco again da kaso da pen ta ja temba gi an chhe sung de kan li ya la da mi da ro ge da nga jam ha dong be ge ro ge ani bi ge sim je mang bo chhe yin ga yong de la ro ge so din de yin be yin na di ge di nga jam mi ge da tong yo ma de quran zo ta ja temba ge sung ju de gyur to ba de ro ge da jing ngue she da zu ru gu to de ge ro sa ro ge Ninde yin ba yin na tanda gen de sung chen nang shu yo ro ge ta ba na to pa to bo le yo de nge de ro ge de ngwe se me ba yin na quran zo ge tanda gen nang ge sung je de kon zo ge sen tu gu yo ro ba sa ro ge kon zo sung je de ra top to yo ro sa
Re la do su da de se go de kar sa chue shi de da ba sa de yin ge na zo che ni ani che go si do de ko ro ku yo la ko ta ku de
That's the in the Kotoba di Jictes Kalungan shake top that the next go or a career. So it is said that when a teacher gives teaching, kind of should allow the possibility and give permission to everybody interested in teaching, right, to listen to the teaching, right? Of course, humans are here, then there could be divine beings, there could be some other formless beings, So the permission is given, so that means those who are right here, it's possible, right? They could be listening, it's just that we don't see them, right? They're invisible beings, But it's very possible that they don't have to have clairvoyances necessarily, their presence is here, we just don't see them. And they could hear the sound. They could get the teaching.
I'm going to bring in another variable.
Sure.
It seems to me that there is an issue of location. What we're calling the realists, which are the people holding views of the tenets of the first 3 schools plus the first sub-school of it seems to me while they're standing in their location, they're not going to be able to see things where the Madhyamika Prasangakas are standing, because it's just by virtue of just standing there, it's just what the Madhyamika Prasangakas are saying is not going to appear for them.
It is what?
What there's is not going to appear for them. So it seems to me there's a location issue. Can we talk about that a little bit? With
You mean the location means your perspective issue?
Yeah.
Okay. Orang kan di shue di disigor kian tanda tangan zo nangben nang liya duda manda bagi tingi ke namsha joda manda ba yor wa ge. Ta so ta dang de liya komdi shi yor wa ge. So ta dang de liya da yije da komdi chuk shen ba yor wa. Yo ba ina duda shamba she de le bu khogu mar wa sa wa ge. Dinde sonda danda di uma bagi da ngwe ma ba la wa ge. Jarang zo de ba de ding mit this uma be ta wa de she yung wa ge. Konza di ko tu be gi nyuba da 따당기 디 유무마로 와서게 그래서 내자다 마서나 안디 컨데스다 디 게세시 난공로
알레 데데르 고 람산도 고 켈링 바데 리과다니 피게 라다도 라서서네 고 켈링 그러
노서
그래서 메지나 케메 고 코라 할로 베히부 마르데나 인세예 주제시네 람사고 피게다가 하고 저도고요 지바라
So what Geshe says is, of course, right, not necessarily right on the spot at this very moment, right? Things start to make sense to them. But usually all of this who subscribe to the followers, right, they have the ability to be able to process reasoning, right, valid reasoning and analysis. So then slowly when they think about, right, the argumentation and the reasoning, so with time they're able to see, right, the perspective differences, and so that's what it is.
그래서 내가 그래서 무슨 말 지켜도 유대신 식을 모두 뭐가 좀 지수고 말고. 그래서 유대도 라트가 여러.
So as in those arguments, as we can see, right, everything is, the debate is really based upon reasoning, isn't it? It's not like I say, okay, now you should visualize, you should imagine, I'm telling you this. Then that's the issue, right? But when you look at the reason, then you say, is this reason making sense? Is this reason working or not, right? That's all you go with, So that's why slowly, that opens up their spaces in their mind and they're able to understand it, Okay, first that and then back,
Two clarifications from our previous questioners online.
Sure.
So the first is requesting a clarification regarding the question about magical illusions and Geshe-la's response. So the follow-up question, did Geshe-la say that phenomena are, quote, very much dependent on the mind or entirely dependent on the mind? We're not talking about Svatantrika, right?
that tagi gengi lench nama de seshi chiro nasar wage tagi nganzu chö tamje da karso gore ke yujin la tö de la wage tö la di ko chidan tö na ma do chö de nem hadu bare be jasa jatam bar wage yujin la tö de yor wesa koran jasa jatam tö bare tö ba samre kharesa ke da yujin sa gore ta bena ke tokbe ta sam kharin ro
yujin de tö se wo jasa jatam tö go tö这个啥你们都可能人性的有路要么是基本上这是个啥怕的出事啊是这样的怕的事情要看啥别些然后的出事的是吧是的现可能人性呢过考的那怕的的是吧是吧你那的怕的些别的是出事的是吧
大概这些多了加他把你经验已经对的是吧Yes, Geshe said, when I say that they are dependent on, let's say, subject or object, right? For anything to exist, it's dependent on subject. Perception is 100%, okay? And here's the example Geshe gives, that everything is referentially existent, isn't it? The example is when you're standing on this hill, you look over there, wow, that hill, isn't it? Then you go to that hill, now that hill becomes this hill, and this hill becomes that hill, isn't it? So it is your perception, isn't it? You are here, it's there. You're there, and it's right. So that's what it is, right? It's dependent on the, the perception and the perspectives. Yeah. Next question.
So now this is a clarification from our first questioner.
Okay.
And you remember his question. Okay, good. So basically, after hearing Geshe-la's responses to a variety of questions today, this person now asks, how does Geshe-la's answer to the question we just discussed, how does Geshe-la's answer not contradict external objects?
Or when Geshe-la said that Prasangikas did say things are externally existent, right? So how does his answer not contradict? Contradict what? That there is no external existence?
Yes. So the person that's asking this question was the person that originally asked,
Yes.
how can Prasangikas say that there are external objects opposing the mind-only school? The Geshe-la answered that, and then Geshe-la also answered a question about the magical illusions and conceptual imputations implying that phenomena are entirely dependent on the mind. So we've gone through that. Then once this person heard both of Geshe-la's responses together, it seems that this person felt there was a contradiction there.
So the contradiction is what? Give me that. Then I'll mention to Geshe-la. So then
Sure.
if there's a contradiction in the result, right? I don't know what the contradiction is.
This is all I have, and
Yeah.
Jim, please send more. But essentially, he says, how does Geshe-la's answer not contradict external objects, quote unquote?
So I don't see the contradiction yet, right? So I cannot translate to Geshe-la. So are you saying that? So what's the contradiction Geshe-la said?
No, I think there's the issue of external reality. I think what he's getting is there's
Yeah, there are
external reality, or
external
no, but if it's merely imputed, then there's no external reality, but they are accepting external
is that the
reality.
contradiction you mean?
I think that might be the
Okay.
contradiction.
So let
Provided it.
okay.
I'm sorry.
He provided
It's best, right, to get from him. He says, if it's entirely dependent on perceptions,
Yeah.
then how is it not mind? Yes, it's like
So,
what Ray said.
or if phenomenon's existence, okay, no, let me say the right. Then if you get me correct, then I'll get correct. Right? If this is something wrong here, then things will go wrong. So if phenomena exists entirely dependent upon the perceptions, so how come phenomena are not just mind, and how can they be external, right? Okay, my gosh, thank Buddha. Now I got it. Actually, this is expected. It's a philosophy class, right, the high level. So they continue this show again. Danda nganzo bena karso kore tenju wa ki ta semja bala rawa gen chiden me la rawa gen samje sem ki tani re la rawa gen je da dipa ka rawa ka du kan ya da tenju wa ki ane cho jin ne che samje to ba ta zam res la rawa gen ja ja da mo to ba la the 10 years choje ne ya chiden yours la barwage cha dini borol gyalta dos again gyalta di kandes ta se ores barwage choje ne la di chö tam je sem gi tani yin de ga ro ya chö tam je pigele dos la dos barwage oda de gen karso se se nam ko barwage
뭐데 심해 다니 인생에 셈자 버려.
나래
다 치료 저들에서 태교하라.
나래
그게 저도 뭐 통하게 치료 저서 대가라면
tenju ba ge gen chirio go chö dan de sem gi 당이 인스가 말다 권이 유유증 대화를 라브점 로하게 또바다서도
다 되게 셈다 소 대화리야 다다 시간가 또 왜 찾아서 또저 대화리야
라브 마도 비게 충사 셈기 바자 진의 중을 되는 시기가 말하게 셈자만 maybe this might clarify the thing okay how Prasangika Madhyamikans have refuted the mind-only Chitta schools who believe that there are no externally object or phenomena, because everything is in the nature of mind, perceptions. Are you with me? Because all the external phenomena, they emerge out of the imprints of the mind. The imprints of the mind are the mind. Are you with me? Prasangikas are not saying the same thing. Okay, Prasangika is saying that there is subject and object relationship, right? We cannot rule that out. Are you with me? For something to exist as a subject of phenomenon, its existence is verified by its perception, right? That kind of dependency is 100%. Are you with me? But that object, whatever is externally existent, they're not saying it's in the nature of their perception, like the Chitta Matrins. That makes sense? Okay, so that's there. Therefore, there is no contradiction, right? Okay, should I repeat it one more time? Okay. Chitta Martins are saying that everything exists in the mind, and there seems to look like it's there, but it's really not there, external phenomena, right? They are all the sort of in the nature of the mind, perceptions, because those all things are emerging out of the imprints we carry in our mind, isn't it? Are you with me? So these imprints are mind, they are not external object. Now the Madhyamikan, Prasangika Madhyamikans refute that, said, that things are externally existent. They are not in the nature of the mind, or they do not arise out of the imprints of the mind. Are you with me? But that does not mean that things are not dependent on their perceptions, right? The way things exist is, we can understand, is because they are perceivers of things, isn't it? And that dependency cannot be ruled out. So therefore, there is no contradiction. One says in the nature of the mind, other says there is not that, okay? So hopefully that clarifies. And next question, please.
Regarding the phrase that things only exist as that we have labeled them, or that as we've given them a term. Yeah. Is this something? I've heard this before, that the idea that the whole universe is constructed by language. I don't know if you've ever heard that thought before.
Yeah, by the language. Social constructionists say that.
Yeah, so
in my discipline,
it's a big mental construct.
Uh-huh.
So would it be correct if I'm thinking of this reality? This seems to exist,
yes,
right?
Yes.
But it's just an object of the mind. It's just my perception of everything. So everything is a mental construct. But you're sitting there, and me speaking is an object in your mind. So is this a big, like, if I think of this all as a dream, waking reality as a big dream, we were using that analogy last week too, would it be fair to say that this is on some deep level, obviously not in my conscious intellect, but on some subconscious level, is this like an agreed upon, that we're all agreeing that these objects exist? Is that fair to say that it's a group? Everyone is constructing the universe together, all the perceiving beings, including maybe even all the bacteria.
Right, things and able to exist because we all agree this is stable and everything. That's what you're saying, right?
Right.
At
Yeah.
people level. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Is that on the right track?
I have to check with the Geshe, right?
Okay.
I don't want to answer
Thank
your
you.
question. I'm just a translator here at the moment.
Sorry, I know it's a complicated question.
That's a good one. Koran this go again. The Shartse talk about taxam lai again. Taxa lai to Geshe which and didn't want to do so again. Taxa lo de Canada, and Anzuta Karsokore, Nanzugi, the Tonga, the Nyoya Karim in a again. Some talk about taxam radio was again. Talk about taxam like the Koran, the Samaj Karako with the Senate and the Choksa Shore again. Choksa de talk about taxa again. But my thing Rinpoche drop in a Nanzu music here, the Nilam Township Rawage. Nilam Nal Yonga Yungorova, Tamaneta Marawage, or did our reverse as Hangmal year like the other Sangme Gita Castle, Sangme the Batunja Wage, or the Chokta the Das, you have a Cherwage, the mother Sabe Koran meeting at the Rawage. Nilam Nalia on the Chunyang Wage, only in Barabush, in a Marawa. Just the music what it did again.
Choksa yara dita milam na diya dipena gawa jo picharaya do nyeta da yo marwa.
No.
Choksa diya yara.
No. Just again, the talk about Tazam da, you talk about Tazam ready, Choksa second your 6 hours again. That is session now again.
도보 다서
거다 셈기 라바자 말와게
조사대 가서 파워 조사를 가르치는 거 동시 무슨 주고로 조사 매서 무슨 누구라고
나래
저
연타 피기 쪽서 차야 돼 가서 다는 차를 모두 코랑 when 차이버 슬랍고 디라고 그러게
라
피게 깡바시 유조디 쪽서 라야디 간주 똑베 쪽서 스타르와게 간주 쪽서 스타 맵자르와게 굽자스람나 다디 굽자 인고로와 유주도 요도 굽자로
굽자서 따라 타니 세마에는 굽자리고 데다 굽자다고 말어
맞아 이네 다 마다 봐도 쪽서 차게 말와게 코토가 가리네 코닥시로와
그것도 마다 야머도 다이 코여도 또베다 중을 되어라
다르와게 다 당고면다게 잘라져 스션 디라 쪽서서 말랑행이 다겐 다저 캠버거와 디칼코 요다 요러와 얘네 코 닥시 마도지 쪽서 차요 말와게
또베다 이제 그 속에
맞아 당고 마다 아루 뭐 속엔디 그 알상다 가르라고도 쪽서 라고도 지금 라베러와게 그래
저
마다베 내가 지어와 디칼 닥시 삼시요 말와
라
마다베 녜라야 닥시 삼마도 코 쪽서 차요 말와게
데데가 그 차이도 그런 저도 그런 줘야 말이 그런 저서 이제 속에서 롤 장장샤
Yeah, thank you. So it's always good to get clarified things. So what Geshe is saying is that everything we experience, right, is not like a dream experience in the sense all the things in the dream are pretty much mental constructs, isn't it? You are dreaming your family members, whatever, they're really not there, isn't it? So we're dealing with mental constructs, everything. But this table in front of you, it exists, right? It's not just your imagination thing. It's not a mental construct table. It is a table. Does that make sense? Yes. Yeah. And but it exists as a merely labeled phenomenon, right? That labeling. So I was trying to ask Geshe, let's say first time whenever somebody created that object, right? It was not yet called table. Are you with me? So I'm saying at that time, is that a table or not, right? Right? It has not been labeled as a table, right? And Geshe said, no, because that person in his mind, when he's constructed, so I'm going to make a table, so it's already called table. Are you with me? Right? Before even he produced it, okay, I'm going to make a table, and then he made it, okay, this table. Does that make sense? So things exist, but they are merely labeled. Are you with me? Does that clarify a little bit something there? It's not like we are dreaming all our whole life, right? Dreams are just mental constructs, right? Nothing really exists in the dream. But these things exist. You exist, table exists, we all exist, but yet they are all merely labeled by terms and concepts.
Okay. I don't know if that got to the heart of my question. I'm asking about emptiness and if everything that exists is dependent on the perceiver.
Yes.
And none of it has intrinsic existence.
Yes.
Then on another level, isn't it all a mental construct? And more importantly, I was asking, is this reality a shared construction? Is it constructed by all of the perceivers,
so the labeling by all
collaborating
to
create these perceptions?
Right.
Even though my perception is happening locally here in my perception of a body, and yours is happening from over there, and theirs from over there.
But we have shared perception, you mean?
Right.
Right.
I hope that makes sense, what I'm asking.
Okay, yeah, sure. Kolang kandi shwe di yin so gen tang anzo pigi pen chok so ba che na rangwe ne dube tongba ro ge tongba de la ro ge. Cheza kan la dube tongba yin be de kar se de kan ya chok se di yue di kho jimbe gi yujin yo ro ge. Yo la ro ge. Je di cho jin de she be na da rimba ro chin yi chen ro ge. Ko chok so yo sa ro jik che ro. Tokbe ta be rimba je se res ro ge. Tang anzo tokbe ma da yo ma ro. Tokbe ta sha be di ta dagi niglam na ya ki karsa or ma do ngone yo ma so wa tokbe ta ro ge ji wo de ya da ko chok se sing ro ge ta tokbe ta ya de ngan cha sama nyam din ko ton ta ro ge nyam din tan bi ko chok se yin da slab res ro ge ta ina bo koran ki bi ko chok se jin de gala di jin je di kwe su gun na yo ro ge nge de na chok se thong yin de gala da di nga thong ge za ro ina nga cha sang me ki bi ko chok se yin se tokbe nyam ru jan ta za ro ge sang me chok se thong ge yo ro wa sa di din de re sa ge
예, 다 조세 제가 강사 저기 당는 리드 리그로 되는데 그 조세 수능 조세로.
가자 지가 다네 지고로 봐.
예.
但是呢，这个跟超近的时代的开始过来，什么个 tagi nilam nal temane shirwa ngone khe me degen gi de tokbe tabe ki rimbar bu chik chero ge di wala ngone di denga ris ni sha wor
te be ma da
no
des you know you thought never mind but you are the was a queen te chiga yo
no
no na ga du ro khar su de ye mi ya ga pe mo bo ni ya sam yo ma ro
la ro
ai da di ngone yo ro
al tokbe chokse tabe de rimba chik ro ge di wala ko chokse seng yo ro so tabe na shi ro ge
yo
no so hopefully this clarifies things as I was trying to say, how we try to differentiate the levels here if we could, right? But first thing first, Geshe said, when we talk about something as being merely labeled by terms and concept, it doesn't have to be a collective adventure, right? One person can label it, that's okay. Or we might all agree with that, right? With me? But these tables, now we all have a common perception. We all regard this desk or table, right? So that's our common. But it doesn't have to be a collective labeling thing. Does that make sense? That's number one. Now the next one where you said, so if things are labeled at one level, it's like a mental construct, you mean? So is that something similar to what we do in the dreams, you mean? Construction. He says that in the dreams, we do mental construction, but nothing in the dream is real happening. Are you with me? But here, yes, mental construction is called table, but there's a table, isn't it? It's not just simply we imagine table, we set table, mental construction, but there is a table, right? I mean, so that's that difference? Okay, yeah. So, no. 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 So the one thing we have to keep in mind is that when we say phenomena are merely labeled by terms and concept, it does not mean that everything we label by terms and concept must exist. Are you with me? Yeah. Everything that exists is merely labeled by terms and concept, but everything labeled by terms and concept does not have to really exist. Are you with me? That's their distinction. And so what is important for why some things exist and we label and they exist as we label, and other things don't work, are labeled. The notion of what we call dakshitsema, valid basis of imputation, labeling. Valid basis of labeling or imputation. The example given in the Buddhist text and Geshe uses is like, so when we, perceive a coiled rope looks like a snake, isn't it? And we are so freaking out, right? We thought that's snake. I don't like snake. But when we go there and check it out, it's a fake snake, isn't it? It's not a real snake. Does it make sense? Because that thing, earlier we thought is a real snake, the basis is not a valid basis of labeling snake. Does it make sense? But the real snake, which we see is not fake, real snake, the basis is real. That's why this snake can poison you, this snake can bite you. Are you with me? So there's a difference between the fake snake and the real snake. Does that make sense, right? So, but in terms of labeling, it's exactly the same thing. Earlier, you misperceive a coiled rope as a snake, you label it as a snake, right? And next time you see the real snake and you label snake, as far as labeling is concerned, is exactly the same, right? But then one is fake and one is real. One can bite you, the one cannot do anything, because that has to do with the valid basis of labeling. Okay? So hopefully that helps somewhere. Yeah, sure. Sure.
Okay, so then we talk about that the self doesn't really exist because this is we're labeling, we're saying
it doesn't exist intrinsically.
Right, not intrinsically.
Yes.
I'm saying I'm a person, but I'm not really, because I'm just all of the aggregates that cause me to seem to be a person. Mm-hmm. So this still gets back to, you know, same thing with the table. If this is all the parts and we're just calling it a table, but I'm just talking about the existence of that something here exists.
Right.
And so, but it doesn't exist intrinsically, and it's empty of actual existence. So I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that and understand how it is that
Oh, there's something real here, right?
external
And there's something
objects
clever.
seem to exist, but this whole perception is kind of like a dream. It seems like if I'm going with emptiness, that nothing intrinsically exists.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
So
I'm still trying to understand how this works.
Okay. From that perspective, yeah.
Yeah.
So this will be the last one, okay? So we'll continue next, right? Quran sena again, that bena chö thamje rangshing madu be tongbare toba thousand lab again. Ding when a tabi nas again. Say in the Kalia, then it chö thamje nganzuki, chochin the ship in the Nilam town when I should reshas again. Rango came meeting again. Eugene using it, what you like US again. Copy Kura Rango Yomar again. In it, you York, but under the secret of what the Kay or again. Or didn't reverse again. That Tongbang went the tabina, Nang that Nezu down, Nang Zuni, went Thabina, and in Milam town again. This or Chagor again.
Is that you know, he said, backwards, you what you go, Marva. Joseph Papa Chora, that you Joseph went the Papa Marva.
No.
She said, what you young them, so the word.
So I think what you are telling us, if you understood well, is that maybe your thinking is aligned with where we're thinking about emptiness, right? So from that perspective, what we're saying is that, for example, that desk, you know, it appears to us as intrinsically existent, but in reality, it's empty of intrinsic existence. Are you with me? And so that experience is like a dream experience. Does that make sense? It's not a dream. We said like a dream, right? The dream is that nothing exists really, right? It's like a dream. There's the way things appear and the way they exist. Are you with me? There's a disparity. If you're thinking about that as like a dream, then it's kind of aligned with the emptiness thinking. Okay. Yeah. All right, we will continue. Okay. As we said, I think we only went to like 2 stanzas or something, right? So we're taking slow, and I hope I'm translating slow enough, right? If not, you just have to cue me in, because I get excited and then I speed up. Californian habit until it comes, then I'm gonna stop. So we will have prayer requests. I refer back to Geshe Laramba Kunchos there, and then we do the prayers. 어두.
So we have 2 prayer requests today for those who are still with us. The first is for Renee's son, Sonam Luju, who is going through a difficult illness. And the second request is for an old TDL student named Kathy Patrick, who will be undergoing serious surgery soon. So please keep them in your prayers and dedications, along with all other sentient beings. May they be free from all obstacles, hardship, and negative karma. May their wishes and prayers be fulfilled. May they be guided by the blessings of the 3 jewels, and may they experience everlasting peace and happiness.
So it seems like you have a 2-sided single sheets on the table. So that has the prayers we usually do with the translation underneath it. So first we will do the Medicine Buddha prayer for the 2 individuals requested and others we can think of. And then on the back side, we will do the Avalokiteshvara prayer, because we know a lot of people pass away, but especially the big tragedy with the American airline crash with the Army helicopter, and everybody died, 64 plus 3. And so we will think about them and others as well. Okay. Because again, number down me took to the sheet, the sheet one, the get it all young to go on around.
So
First medicine Buddha. Yeah.
no, so if we can kindly request when cleaning up to put the prayer sheets. There's a red folder in the drawer. If we could put them away in the red folder there, thank you.
Yeah. So after we're done with the prayers, please put all this like prayer sheets into that red envelope there. Okay. Dorjee Gun La Nyombe Jomden De Tenzin Dorjee Ngendu Dongye Doson Nese Sangye Mengye La Bindur Yaye Shartse Lo Taye Ta Om Beshaya Je Mam Beshaya Je Raja Samudga De Soha. Tayata Om Bekazem Mam Bekazem Ranza Samunga De So Gawa Di Nyodo Da Membe Gabo Rubjo Rawa Chegya Malu De Salang Gwe Show backside. Chadong Kolun Juve Gabo Don Jendong Gawa Sangbe Sangye Don Kangla Kangdu Dela Dedon Zhenba Zhenre Zela Chanze Lo Om Mani Peme Hum. Om Mani Peme Hum Re Gawa Di Nyodo Da Chere Sewan Rubjo Nem Rawa Chegya Mal De Salam Gwe Show. We have this prayer booklet and we are on page 5. Page 3, sorry. Lord Jaze Vidum Bega Den Gesan Pungwe Judo Memba Shin Denba Zinla Wangdo Jiju Tanyan Chugun Chola Sowan De page 5. Mawan Dame Gunjen Donga Den Kangri Jongso Nida Senze Jamgun Jawa Nyewa Yapse Je Tangson Tenzi Mawe Shiba Tenzin Jebe Jingguan Zebe Je Xieje Nigun Changzhu Tendu Longda Tamje Bebe Beyun Je Luja Gyatsu Gundo Shabden Tesang Guangdang Cheze Zombe Ze Yongzho Yure Tube Nyage Longri Dejin Nube Bedenba Tubden Kangri Dabo Shabde Dona Gongmen Zeba Namda Gun Tendang Zhuwe Pende Zhuwe Tundu Jume Chebe Tenle Je Gesan Duje Tundu Shabde Chizu Lame Tuje Melamda Gesan Duje Tendam Zangme Chozon Dodo Chido Domba Ye Chida Membe Dung Lundu Show page 9. Ramja Shingi Gombo Zewa Me Zodo Namje Yeyun Zhoma So Chizo Zeye Lazo Tamje Daden Mishi Chogi Ngudu So Tubden Chedang Losan Yawa Shiru Denban Zembe Benyun Je Tadu Duje Gyungwe Yangdu Ninje Gombo Shabden So Jiden Sumgun Chana Beme Tenbe Zawa Soso Tawa Ye, Namda Sujin Yangda Lamba, Losan Yenden Bedo Shabden Sho, Tujon Gyaltsen Nunzin Yangbe Shin, Samjo Namje Changzin Rumbi, Gomjon Shila Songjo Debe Den, Tenbe Ngada Chenbo Shabden, Chebe Donga Kowa Bojo Den, Zembe Rilan Siye Bamja, Zembe Denden Leshe Tangja Zhe, Kejo Shinyin Chenbo Shabden, Kebe Langdo Guje Zeta Je, Zembe Chara Niezo Rangsa, Sangbe Duje Regon Yishe No, Sumden Shinyin Chenbo Shabden, Tesan Rolan Jawe Dende Je, Menjo Tajue Sangme Seje, Labjen Zedin, Dende Beshawa, Tuden Shabden Sho, Choson Jawa Seje Chenla Dang, Tuden Damjen Songme Daja Lasan Dabe Dembe Do, Jida Membe Dun Lendo Sho, Changjo Simjo Rembo Je, Maje Bana Yejo, Yewa Nyamba Meba Yang, Kone Kong, Pewa Sho, Dongnian Dawa Rembo Je, Maje Bana Yejo, Yewa Nyamba Meba, Kone Kongdo Pewa Sho, Sa Shi Beijing Joshin Medo Zhang, Rira Lingxi Ninde Yenpa. Sangye Shindo Nide Bewa Yen, Rogue Namda Shin, Cheba Sho, Kangri Rabe, Gorbe Shingam So, Pendan Dewa, Mali, Jongbe, Jere Sewan, Tenzin Dorjee, Shabe Siden Bado, Denjo Ji, Idang Guru, Mandela, Niya Taya Min, Yawa Gundo, Yangda, Lama Dang, Deme, Cheje, Bela, Long, Sada Lamje Yunde Rabzo Nin Doje Changi Goba Nyu Dojo.